Hi everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings with you here again tonight, because like I say, there's no time like the present, and this video, still not a doctor, this video is very short. Why do some people claim that they're all natural when in fact they're on a lot of steroids? Not all the people that claim to be natural and who are actually on steroids do it for this reason, but a lot of them do it because even when they take steroids, they can only look as good as me, but maybe with a little bit lower body fat because they're on steroids and their muscles can stay nice and full even when dieting and they don't. Long story short, you can look a lot better with low body fat on steroids, and you can maintain and build muscle a lot better while dieting with a low body fat on steroids. When you're all natural, you actually need a little bit of fat. It actually has some benefits. This video isn't about that. But yes, because some people, they're just in average shape, or maybe they're in okay shape, maybe they're even in good shape, and perhaps they're thinking, oh, I'm gonna take steroids, I'm gonna be a big old muscle buff guy, whatever they're thinking. But they think they're gonna take it to the next level. Or maybe they're a nobody, it doesn't work out at all, and they think they're just gonna take it to be in decent shape. Either way, they're thinking those steroids are gonna really take them up a notch. So for some people, they think they're gonna be like way up here, and then they take steroids and they're just average. I mean, they're above average, that's for sure. But they're not like insanely better than someone like me, who has just put the hard work in. Not that you don't put hard work in when you take steroids, but they do make it a lot easier. So basically, they only end up looking like someone who's in good shape naturally. So then, what would make more sense? They took all these steroids, and they only look like me. Do you think they want to say that they took all these steroids and they still only look like me? With a little lower body fat, probably. And their muscles are a little more full because they're always being pumped up from the steroids. No, they do not want to say that. That would make them sound pathetic if they said, oh, even with a bunch of steroids, I'm only as good as that guy who doesn't even take all these steroids and other things I take. No, they want to say, I take nothing. I don't take anything. I'm all natural. I'm able to look in the top 1% of natural people because I just work hard and I have good genetics, whatever they're saying. That's true for some people, but it's not true for the people that are taking steroids and lying about it. It's true for me. I don't know about my genetics because I started working out when I was very young, and I'm naturally a small guy. But let's say I have good genetics, not excellent genetics for muscle building. Obviously for brains I have amazing, too high to measure genetics. But for muscle building, my genetics are just, let's say, good. Pretty good. They're not amazing, they're not excellent, but they're good. But I also started working out when I was 10 years old. Yes, I was injured for 4 years from the age of 16 and a half to about 20 and a half. So I would be in even better shape right now if I wasn't injured then. And yes, I am trying to get in the good light to look good on camera so that when I say these people can only look as good as me, I actually look good when I'm saying that. So yeah, imagine, like, I'm in this shape right now. Imagine if I took a whole bunch of steroids and I only looked a tiny little bit bigger. You think I'm gonna want to tell the world, hey everybody, I've been taking a whole bunch of steroids for a whole year now, and I can only get in this good a shape? No, I'd be like, oh, I trained extra hard this year, I ate extra food, I dieted super hard, hit the gym extra. Yeah, look at me. You should all be like me and buy my fitness plans, my diet plans, because if you do, you can be super low, unattainable body fat year round and have good pumped up muscles year round. I mean, if I could buy a book that would allow me to have a good pump and full muscles with low body fat year round all the time, I sure as hell would. But guess what? There's nothing you can read, nothing you can do that's gonna allow you to be very low body fat, dieting all the time, and still have good muscles that are always full. Like these often Instagram people. Maybe there's some YouTube ones too, I don't know exactly. So, yeah. if you have the most amazing genetics in the world, or you're like one of 5 people that have the most amazing genetics in the world, you probably can have super low body fat, even without dieting, and you can work out a lot and have super full muscles all the time. But for the rest of the 99.9% of people who don't have the most amazing genetics in the whole world, maybe in the whole universe, who knows what's out there, you cannot have super low body fat year-round all the time and have great muscles that are always pumped and full and round. Sorry, you can't. His whatever the hell plan is not gonna let you do that. That's why you should get my plans. Not that I'm just trying to sell you stuff. I am trying to make money off of this, but yeah. I'm not just trying to sell you stuff with this, but my plans are made by somebody who does not take steroids, who is not super shredded with pumped up muscles year round, because I'm not on steroids. And it gives you real advice for progress when you're not on steroids. But actually, I can give you advice for if you do take steroids too. I'm not against steroids. I just get pissed off when I see these people with, I'm thinking of one guy in particular, I think he only has 24,000 followers on Instagram. I mean, that's 23,758 more than me right now. And he's on steroids. Maybe he's not on a lot of steroids, but he's on steroids, allowing him to look good year-round, super low body fat, nice pumped up muscles. You know, he could also just be dieting super hard, working out super hard, and then he just eats right before his photo shoots and works out, gets a pump. But I'm willing to bet that's not the case. And you could probably go, well, if it's that easy, why isn't it the case? Well, it's not quite that easy. And also there's other telltale signs if you're using steroids. And even if you were to be dieting hard all the time, just eat right before so it fills up your muscles with sugar, and then you're gonna also work out, get a pump, it just would look a little bit different. Like, you'd still look really good. But how practical is that if you're taking videos every day, random times of the day? You would end up essentially not being on a diet because you'd be eating all the time right before your videos at every couple hours of the day. Plus, you just look different when you're on steroids, and some stuff goes on with the nipples. Sometimes you get mammary tissue. I have some, but not because I used a bunch of steroids. Sometimes the nipples themselves, they just get more like thicker tissue, more pointy. There's a lot of different changes that go on. Sometimes you'll see, I've made a video on this, the discoloration. I have, you see it's kind of a different color. I mean, that's because of hair also, but also this area stretched, and I don't think the hair grew as much. Actually, there's hair there. But yeah, I'm an expert on gyno, because I have gyno, and I've looked at myself in the mirror every single day, multiple times a day for years with it. Yeah. And of course, there are some people out there that don't even look like they could be natural, and they claim they're natural. Why they do it? Probably some of the same reasons. I mean, besides the not being able to look that good parts. But they still want to make it seem like they did it all naturally, and like they're really special. Or for some young people, like I was watching a YouTube video with this young kid. I think he's like 19. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to have any problems with slander. But he's like, and yeah, I just want to tell you guys all that, yeah, I'm all natural. And this guy supposedly added, I don't know, like 10 inches onto his leg in a year. He probably put on like 50 pounds of muscle in 2 years as a teenager. I mean, I packed on about 10 pounds per year, and that's a lot more than normal. Now, he does seem to have really great genetics, and you don't even know who I'm talking about. But even with really great genetics, you're not going to be packing on 20, 25, 30 pounds of muscle a year. I'm not saying he gained 30 pounds of muscle a year. I think that's more than he has. But he has a really great physique, especially for like a 19-year-old. But, oh yeah, so the reason why probably someone like him wouldn't say they're on steroids is because their parents would get really mad at them, maybe kick them out. I mean, I don't believe good parents kick your kids out for something like that. But I'm not his parents, I'm not other people's parents. So yeah, I mean, weed's legal in California now. A lot of parents are probably still not cool with it. I'm not saying they should be, I'm not saying they shouldn't be. But can you imagine you're like 15, you're smoking weed, you're hiding it, and your parents found it? I mean, shit, you're in trouble. Now imagine if they found a bunch of needles with stuff. Oh my, however they're gonna be. So you're not gonna go, oh yes, everybody, I take 3 Diana balls a day and a shot a week. Probably taking more than 3. 5 milligram. In my head, I was thinking of 5 milligram Diana balls. Probably taking more than that. Probably taking more than 1 shot a week or something. But regardless, some people, there's other reasons. Like that reason, and then there's other people. Say you're a law student, a medical student, or any sort of student. Do you think you're just going to come out and say, oh yes, I do illegal drugs, I love illegal drugs, I take illegal drugs all the time, I buy illegal drugs, I trade illegal drugs with my friends? Well, no! You're going to get kicked out of your school or something, most likely. And if you wanted to go to med school, they're going to be a-holes and go, oh, you don't have any morals, you can't be a doctor. It sucks because it's really not a moral thing to use steroids or not. I'm not going to get into whether other drugs are moral or not. It's complicated. But yeah, like, say someone like me who wants to go to med school, probably. I mean, life's complicated. I don't know how exactly things are going to work out. And I'm not saying I do steroids, but if I did, and this isn't just one of those things where I'm just trying to, like, you know when, like, you're trying to imply that you're really doing something, but you say you're not doing it, but you're like implying that you're actually doing it. I'm not doing that. But say I was doing steroids, and I plan on going to medical school. Do I want to blow my chances of medical school just to tell people I'm on steroids? Even if I really wanted to be honest about it, and this isn't the actual case, I would not say, whatever I would say, but like you could want to say it all you want, but if you're a smart person, you'd go, hey, I need to go to medical school. And then I don't know what all the technicalities are as a doctor, because I actually had a relative that was a doctor who lost his medical license for prescribing himself drugs that he wasn't supposed to take, including testosterone, human growth hormone, and a lot of painkillers and stuff. Not blood related, so don't worry, medical schools. It's not in my genetics to do that. And yeah, he lost his license. Good guy. He was in great shape, but like, probably he ended up having a bunch of discs in his back fuse when he was around 63, I think. But up until like 60, he was in great shape. He could bench press 500. His arms are really big. He had really good shredded abs. So even if you are already a doctor, you made it through med school, I don't think you're going to come out and go, hey everybody, I take illegal drugs. Because maybe the medical board's going to go, we don't want you in charge of medications. You're out. But if you're making like $10 million a year off your YouTube, then maybe you don't need to be a doctor. Maybe you don't want to be a doctor. Not that you would only want to be a doctor for the money, because I don't want to only be a doctor for the money, but it sure as hell sucks that you got to go through all that medical school and pay all that money, then go through residency not making much money. Oh, and before all this, you already went through university and didn't make any money and spent money. So yeah, you gotta really want to be a doctor to be a doctor. But I mean, even people who don't really want to be a doctor, they still become doctors because they can put up with waiting so long, living at home, and they know that they'll make decent money. And I'm actually really against that, because I think only people that really have a genuine interest in it should actually be doctors or whatever profession they are. Because people that don't really have a genuine interest typically aren't very good at it, even if they can memorize everything for their tests. So yeah. I guess that got off topic from the reason why those particular people take steroids, but to rehash, a lot of people, they're in okay shape, and then they take steroids and they get into good shape like I'm in, or like somebody else is in who's completely natural and who's just worked out a long time. And they don't want to go, oh, I can only look as good as that all-natural guy when I take steroids. That would make them down here instead of up here, like where I am. So they're going to go, I'm all natural and I'm up here. But in reality is, they can only get to this high natural point of physique that's achievable naturally with the help of steroids. There's a lot of people that aren't in any sort of shape. and they take steroids just to get to average muscular shape, like someone who's worked out for a year or two. A lot of people take steroids and they're not gigantic. Please like and subscribe. Know that you can hire me for coaching, diet plans, supplement plans. I'm not against steroids. I can give advice on them, but I'm going to say I'm not a doctor, and I'm not recommending you take them unless they are prescribed by a doctor. And that is something I'm serious about. Don't do drugs, because drugs are bad. I'm serious about that too. They're not taking steroids unless they're prescribed by a doctor. Actually, who knows how serious I am about that, but of course I'm very serious about that. So, if you hire me for anything, diet, supplement, training, whatever, I'll make sure you get a lot of bang for your buck. You won't regret it. You will regret if you spent it on some iced coffees and some Cheetos. Maybe you spend it on a movie. Maybe you got a Tinder subscription. I don't know. Maybe you spend it on somebody else's diet plan who's on steroids and only looks a little bit better than me with steroids. Yeah, your best option is to buy my stuff. Not just saying that because I do want to sell it, because I really do want to sell it and make some money, because jobs as a scientist suck. So now I'm trying to pursue a career as a fitness person. I don't know exactly what kind of fitness person. I've always been into bodybuilding and fitness and health and knowing how the human body works. So it seems rather natural to go this direction. I mean, I love it. What if I could just work out every single day? And in the future, probably I would take steroids myself so that I could work out even more often, because I like working out. Some people dread going to the gym. Others, like me, want to go to the gym. That's why we're in good shape, because we like going to the gym all the time. But of course, there are some people that don't like going to the gym and still push themselves and end up in good shape. So that could be you. But ultimately, you gotta think, is it really that important to not enjoy my whole life, just always dreading going to the gym all the time, even though I don't like it, when I could be doing other things that I do like, making me happy? Is it really worth it to spend my time going to the gym, being unhappy just to be in a little better shape? I'd say probably not. I'd say just be healthy, somewhere in the good health range. Don't be miserable. Go for a hike, go bowling, do whatever you actually like. Go to the gym sometimes. Please like and subscribe. Check out my Instagram, natural_true_fitness, where you can message me for diet, training, whatever kind of plans. Any sort of question you have, you can message me. If it's a really small, quick question, or even if it's just a small question, not a super small question, because I don't have very many followers and people messaging me, I'll probably respond without charging you. But if it's anything more than something small, or if I'm just not in a special mood to want to talk to you for free, then I would recommend paying, because you'll get a lot of bang for your buck, I promise that. You won't regret it. And what else? I'm going to be publishing a book soon on tendinitis, how to get rid of it. Because tendinitis is... I want to be a doctor. I do not have good experience with doctors. I think most doctors are morons. And doctors have this moronic belief that tendinitis is an idiopathic condition. Ooh, tendinitis, it just comes out of nowhere, you know. Your elbow will just start hurting for no reason. It just gets inflamed for no reason. It has a mind of its own. Well, maybe if you have lupus or something, in which scenario you have a lot bigger problems than the little bit of tendinitis or the lot of tendinitis. I mean, you're dying. But if you don't have some sort of weird autoimmune disorder, chances are, like 99.99% chance, the tendinitis is not just random inflammation. Oh, we're just gonna kill the inflammation for a little while and it'll get better. No, tendinitis is a symptom of a condition of trauma and injury. I would say more, but you should buy my book. Because even if I were to price it, and I'm not gonna price it at $300 or $500, but even if I were to price it at, say, $300, you gotta think about it this way. Normally, you would go to the doctor. The doctor's not gonna be able to help you, so you go back to the doctor. Maybe you go back to him again, you realize, oh, this doctor really can't help me. Maybe he refers you to a physical therapist who you go to for 10 weeks, spending $100 or whatever it is every session. I went to a physical therapist when I was younger, messed me up actually, spent money on it. Maybe you have good insurance that covers all this, but you still have little copays, so it adds up eventually. And also, your problem's not getting fixed. So you've already gone to your doctor 3 times, gone to the physical therapist for weeks and weeks. Now you go to another doctor who also doesn't help you. Maybe you get a couple cortisone injections or whatever. They don't help you. Things are getting worse. What do? You gotta spend more money on more doctors? Do you get surgery, spend even more money, waste even more time, still not getting better? Or do you buy Andrew Hutchings' Systematic Guide to Defeating Tendinitis, or whatever I'm gonna end up calling it? I think it's the best decision to buy my Systematic Guide to Defeating Tendinitis because it actually works. So no matter what the cost is, it improves your quality of life. But no matter what the cost is within a reasonable range, it's still a hell of a lot cheaper and saves you a lot of time rather than going on with all the doctors, physical therapists, masseuses, whatever. And not that masseuses are bad, it could be good. Not that physical therapists are bad, they can be good. But the lesson of the day is, do you really want to go to a doctor a handful of times, physical therapist for months, and probably still have the tendinitis, and then you spent a lot of money? Or do you want to buy my book, Get Rid of the Tendinitis in 30 Days? Maybe you had horrible tendinitis, and you're just not a good responder to the treatment, in which case you repeat it one more time. Wow. 30-day treatment. Wow, you have to repeat it one time? Maybe. Small chance. Probably one treatment will be good. But if you're a horrible case and you need 2 treatments, how bad would that be for the price of one book and 2 30-day treatment time periods? Your tendinitis is gone. You can live a good, happy life. Think about it. There's a bigger cost of tendinitis than just the doctor. You also have to consider your mental health. So if you have tendinitis and it's constantly hurting, you're in constant pain. Even if it's not that bad of pain, it's still going to probably cause some depression, some anxiety, some lack of motivation, all sorts of things, and that's going to lower the quality of your life. It's also going to lower your ability to do physical activities that you enjoy. Again, lowering the quality of your life, and probably not being able to do those physical activities is going to lead to even worse mental health. So, I mean, you've got a lot of stuff pushing you down. And then you got the bills from the doctors and all sorts of things. You can't sleep, maybe. You're on sleeping pills now. Who knows? I mean, it's not a good situation. Tendinitis isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's still not a fun thing to have, especially if you're not getting it taken care of. So that's why it's a very smart decision to buy my book. Not just because I do want to sell my book, but because it's actually going to help you a lot. And I mean, that's great. Someday when I'm a doctor, I'll be able to actually do this stuff. And also I want to make sure I get it published so that when I am a doctor, I get the credit for it. And I am 100% sure this will be common medical practice in the next 10 to 20 years. Maybe if we're really unlucky, all of us, because I mean, who wouldn't like good tendinitis treatment? If we're really unlucky, maybe it'll take 30 years. I don't know how long it's going to take exactly, but I think in the near future, it's going to be standard medical treatment. That's why I'm making sure to get my book out, so I get all the credit for it. Also, because I do want to be able to help people get rid of their tendinitis, and I want to make money. There's not usually just one reason for things. There's a lot of reasons. But that's enough for tonight. So please like and subscribe. Message me on Instagram for training, diet, nutrition, whatever you want. Oh, and comment, because apparently it's good for the algorithm.